Hello everyone and welcome back to my F1 22 custom Formula 2 season for round number 9 at Monza. We are in second position in the championship heading into this round, and both drivers and teams at championships, so let's hope for a good result here in qualifying to give us the best possible chance to challenge Oscar Piastri for the championship lead. So getting through the first chicane, the Variante del Rettifilo quite well, and the Della Roggia goes just as nicely. Probably could have used a little more space on the exit and carried more momentum through the second apex there, but overall that's not too bad. And we now head through the Lesmos. The second Lesmo is probably the most difficult corner on the circuit for me. Just never can get that one right. Now into the Ascari chicane, and trying to minimize any time lost through there. We did run a little wide on the exit. It's very much on the limit, the Ascari chicane, and I have a very weird line through Parabolica, but it works, and we get through there, and now we head towards the line and see where this time will put us. We go fastest for the moment.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three.
Fiscal, Piastri and Liam Lawson.
With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the feature race tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
Alrighty, thank you. Pole position for the feature race here at Monza. That is coming up at the end, but we have the sprint race first. Lirim Zendelli has reverse grid pole for that. Unfortunately, Marino Sato, I'm having trouble speaking today. Marino Sato, not so lucky in qualifying. He's down in 14th with the Premers 2nd and 4th, with Piastri sharing the front row for us later on in the feature race. So it's going to be an interesting weekend no matter how it plays out. Let's get into it.
Hello and welcome back to a classic circuit, familiar to fans the world over. This is Monza. You can hear the cars ready to go. Certainly the fans are ready for some action. We're all set. So let's get this Formula 2 race underway. Monza is one of the faster circuits in Formula 2, comprising some very long straights and tight chicanes. The engine spends so long at full throttle, in fact, that engine failures are not an uncommon sight here. On top of that, the 3.6 miles of track are pretty hard on the gearbox too. Turn 1 at Monza is famous, or should I say infamous, for serious contact and incidents, especially on the opening lap. What are your thoughts on that, Davide?
Yes, this chicane is a tricky one. A lot of time you see the more experienced drivers hold back from full throttle to keep themselves safe as everyone tries to squeeze into the racing line after the opening straight.
Alright, here we are on the grid then for the sprint race here in Monza. Medium tyre compound will be used for the entirety of the race. No pit stop required, of course, though there may be one necessary because there is rain forecast around probably the halfway point of this race.
Okay, good parking there, mate. Now we need to make sure we get a great launch as the race starts.
I think that's about 20 minutes in, so could be interesting. Let's see how this goes as we go to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the sprint race here at Monza, and it's a decent launch off the line. We immediately get ahead of Piastri as we run down towards the first corner. They're going to go 3 wide in front. We're going to lift off a little bit, give them some room to sort themselves out. Piastri takes the outside line. We find some space on the inside. That's why we lifted off. Find the room, and we found ourselves some, and we do get ahead of Piastri. Nowhere for us to go on the exit though. We had a decent run, but we had nowhere to really make that work. So we sit in 9th position.
Tyre condition still looking good.
With no damage to the car. Big lunge down the inside of Robert Schwartzman and Enzo Fittipaldi. Double dive there, and we make the double overtake work into the Della Roggia chicane, and that was a nice move there, and that moves us up into 7th position. So it's been a fantastic start to the race for us, and we've put a couple of cars now between ourselves and Oscar Piastri. That's the key. We need cars between us and Piastri to really buff out that points benefit we get from finishing ahead. Meanwhile, we've got Christian Lundgaard looking all over the place in front of us to try and get past Liam Lawson. No way through for him there, and the fighting between those two might bring us into contention. So we'll see how this goes. Lundgaard now to the outside as Lawson continues to defend. He's a very hard driver to overtake, is Liam Lawson, so this will be interesting. He manages to hold on once again. Lundgaard lifts out of it, and now we've got a good run as we duck to the inside, staying out of the dirty air. Lundgaard dropping back on the exit, and we'll get through on the inside of Christian Lundgaard. We're now side by side, Lundgaard in the slipstream of Lawson, and we're going to have to keep this battle going. We're trying to box in Lundgaard. He'll get to Lawson, then have to stop, but Lawson moves out of his way, but we get to the corner before Lundgaard has a chance to overtake. We make the double dive, and for the second time in just over a lap, we make a double overtake into a chicane. Start of lap 2, and we're already up into the top 5. And
We think we might see some rain. ETA about 15 minutes.
we need to keep this progress going because rain is coming very soon, and we need to make sure we have as much track position as possible before that rain hits.
Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place.
That was an overtake on Richard Verschoor. We get through nicely at the Della Roger chicane, and we're now up into 4th position with Felipe Drugovich and Guilherme Samaya up next, the two Brazilians fighting away. Meanwhile, we look on board with Yuri Vips, who makes some contact with the back of Piastri, and that's damage to the front wing of the Vipsmobile, and he will have to make a pit stop because of that. He's already losing a position, so Yuri Vips, a bit of a mistake there, and he'll drop out of contention in this one. Back on board with us though, and we're looking everywhere at the moment. We've got Felipe Drugovich right on the back of Guilherme Samaya. Larim Zandelli leads the way at the moment by a margin as we get a nice run on Felipe Drugovich, and we get through on the exit.
Great pass.
And I think Drugovich may have had a bit of a moment there because we cleared him very easily. We went for a wide line on entry to cut in on the exit, but Drugovich really lifted out. I think the gearbox did something a bit weird there. It either jumped down the gear or something, but anyway, we have a good run on Samaya as well, and we'll make the move around the outside of the other Brazilian, and we'll make that move stick, and that moves us up and into second position in this race with only Larim Zandelli ahead now.
The
So
underbody's taken some damage. You might start to notice it soon. No need to worry about the tyre condition for now. Everything's looking good.
yeah, now we have some floor damage. I'm not sure exactly where that came from. Probably running over curbs too much. I do have a tendency to do that, but hopefully that won't affect us too badly. And it seems like it's not, because we are still catching Larim Zandelli. And once again, wide line on entry, and then we cut in a little bit on the exit of Parabolica, and we will make the move along the main straight as we're side by side with Larim Zandelli trying to push our way past with the help of DRS, and we will make the move down the inside into turn 1, and it's job done, and we're ahead of Larim Zandelli. Puts us up into the race lead after starting down in 10th. We have flown through the field in this one, and I'm starting to get an idea in my head. Maybe we could do the double this weekend and win both races. Getting way ahead of myself. We still have to finish this one as we go a bit wide on the exit of the second Lesmo. I said I was struggling with that corner, and Larim Zandelli knows it. He goes for the move around the outside along the back straight towards the Ascari chicane. Now we go for the move back around the outside, and we cut over the apex very aggressively there to make sure Larim Zandelli could not keep the nose in on the inside. But we make a mistake through the Ascari chicane, and Larim Zandelli back around the outside towards Parabolica. Let's see what happens here as we're very close, almost banging wheels down the straight now into Parabolica. We're later on the brakes than Larim Zandelli, and we'll make the move and get through and get back ahead of the German. But this fight is going to be an ongoing battle, I think, as he is now the one on the attack. He's got the DRS as we head down towards the Variante del Rettifilio once again. Larim Zandelli down the inside as we're wheel to wheel into the first corner. We give him a lot of room there, but we will maintain the position ahead of Larim Zandelli once more and hold on to first place. We're now in lap 12, so we are over halfway through the race, but by the time we move on to the end of that lap, the rain has come down and it's time to pit.
Okay, fitting the wet compound when you next come in.
And yeah, fitting the wet compound tyres, so the weather changed very quickly, and now we are in pit lane and putting the appropriate tyres on the car. and no one else of the leading pack at least
That was a fantastic
stopping.
stop, faster than we were expecting.
So actually no one at all. We're the only ones. We're down in 21st
Pit
position.
strategy complete. See these tyres through to the end.
So we've either jumped onto these tyres very early or everyone else has missed the boat. It's going to be interesting to see which one of those plays out. It's a long way to go in this race, definitely too far to take the slicks to the end if this rain continues, which it is forecast to for a while, so I don't know what the deal is there. But Liam Zendelli has an issue and he's going to retire with a mechanical failure after fighting for the lead throughout the entire race and maintaining it for a large portion of it. Liam Zendelli is out through factors out of his control. What a shame for Liam Zendelli. He was looking strong for a definite podium at minimum, so that is a shame. But as we continue on, back on board with us, still no one making pit stops.
Ahead of you. Our gap to the car in front is 16.1 seconds. They're on old mediums.
And yeah, 16 seconds up the road to Roy Nissany, as there's another issue. It's Felipe Drugovich, and he is out as well. Another heavy hitter in this race who was fighting near the front. Felipe Drugovich is out. What a disaster. This race is turning on its head. Let's see what happens next. Oh, there's a safety car. There's a safety car out on track. This is going to definitely turn the race on its head as we have a big lose of the rear end through Barabolica. Under safety car conditions, we're still pushing because we might lose the lead here if everyone else makes their pit stops under safety car. There's a whole bunch of cars that are making pit stops now, and there's the safety car coming out of pit lane. We're not the race leader yet, so we can go past it safely. But what a weird turn of events that is happening in this race. And we have for now held on to the effective lead. Everyone now moving on to the correct tyres, and as we continue to roll through the laps under safety car, we do eventually
You're leading, so don't pass it. Stay behind the safety car.
regain the lead and pull up behind the safety car. And here is the new running order. And as I said, race turned on its head. We've got Liam Lawson in second position ahead of Christian Lundgaard, Samaya ahead of Oscar Piastri, and Marino Sato has jumped well up the order. He's up into sixth position. So great points for Sato potentially, as Robert Schwartzman is out of the points now. So this race has really been turned on its head.
Safety car is in this lap. Safety car in this lap. You'll be controlling the pace on the restart. Keep it steady until the safety cars reach the pit lane.
Alright, let's refocus our attention on this race. We'll have 3 racing laps to go after the safety car goes in. As we put the power down, green flags are out, and we're racing again here at Monza as Liam Lawson gives pursuit, and Christian Lundgaard as well will be keen to make the most of this. That's the podium at the moment. Let's see how it changes over the next 3 laps. Lawson behind, trying to make the move down the inside, trying to make something work. He's going to be fired up. He has an opportunity to take the race win out of nowhere. If we make any mistakes, he will be right there. And I'm not as confident in these conditions as I was in the dry. So there is every opportunity for Lawson and Lundgaard behind. And now as we continue to push on, Lawson goes for the move as we run side by side along the main straight towards the first corner. Lawson trying to make the move. He's going to be on the outside here. That could help us hold on to the position as we're going to try and go later on the brakes than the Kiwi driver alongside us. And we will maintain first position for a little bit longer. But with 2 laps to go, there is still much to play out as we have a bit of trouble putting the power down out of the Rettifilio. And now Lawson up the inside through Curva Grande, and now we're towards De La Roja. He's got the outside line once again, so we're placing our car well, but still struggling to stay ahead of Liam Lawson. We're just doing the best defense that we can, and then for now we're holding him off, but it's very difficult. Lawson is so quick, so we'll see what happens. We're on board now with Liam Lawson through Ascari. He's had a moment, he's off the road, and Liam Lawson throws it away, drops off the podium, and Liam Lawson will be absolutely fuming with that little mistake. It's just right at the wrong moment. I think he had a bit of a slide on, but whatever happened, Liam Lawson tumbles down the order, and he won't score points in this one. What a shame for Liam Lawson, and that has slightly lifted the pressure only for a moment because Lundgaard's on us now.
This is your final lap.
So now the Danish driver is going to try and go for the move. We have to cover the inside line as we head towards the first corner once again, but Lundgaard not close enough to do anything and will maintain first place for now. That's elevated Sato into the top 5 incidentally, and has put Samaya, who's now moved into second position in that little battle. He's now on the podium, so Guilherme Samaya potentially on for a great result in this one as we're continuing to try and hold off this entire train. They're all swapping positions, moving around, and we are just doing our best to make sure we cover them all off. But we're running out of corners. They're running out of corners, so let's hope we can continue to hold them off. Into the Ascari chicane for the final time, and a bit wide there through the right-hander. It's going to compromise our exit. We keep things nice and steady. Samaya's slow on the exit, and that's held up Lundgaard as well, and here comes Piastri. They're all fighting away down towards Parabolica for the final time, on board with Piastri, who's down the inside of Samaya. This is the fight for second position. They've both cleared Lundgaard. Piastri getting the nose ahead just briefly, but Samaya keeping the foot in around the outside. They're wheel to wheel as they head around the exit of the Parabolica, and Samaya's just about going to hold on, but will take the race victory.
Ah, fantastic drive. That's just fantastic. Amazing. You deserve that race win. Well done, mate.
What a crazy finish to that one. Trying to hold everyone off, but we managed to do it. And that is crucial points for us in the championship.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for Trident today. And I have to wonder, Davide Valsecchi, just what set them apart from the competition here.
What can I say? In conditions like this, it's an incredible difficult drive, but they pulled off something truly special today. They had the grip when they needed. Every time they were able to find just the right line, and they had the confidence to put those things together and just push and push. That's what earned them this victory today.
It's the part we've all been waiting for, the podium finish, and it's probably one of the more unexpected finishes in a while. Trident take the victory, and Trident have made huge strides within F2 recently, and today proves that they're not only still in the race, but they're in it to win. Congratulations to everyone on the team.
Well, after much fighting, both attack and defense, it is a race victory for us. Guilherme Samaya finishes in second position, a great result for him, with Oscar Piastri, ever consistent, hauling in the points, finishing third.
And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Let's give it to Bernd Viscal. That was a quality drive from start to finish. He can be proud of that one.
After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Alrighty, well, that was certainly an exciting race. And obviously we've just run through the podium, but Marino Sato ended up fourth. He passed Lundgaard at the final corner and managed to grab another position and make amends for a fairly lackluster qualifying with a nice chunk of points there, and that will certainly be very useful to us in the team's championship. Lundgaard dropped from second to fifth on the final lap. Disaster for him, and he will not be too pleased with how this one ended. Jane Deruvala, Robert Schwartzman and Jack Aiken round out the points finishers, with David Beckman and Richard Verschoor finishing off at the top 10. Robert Schwartzman doing a good job to finish in 7th position and gaining a few spots through the rain, and and getting some points after dropping out of points contention for a while there. So good effort from Robert Schwartzman in that regard. In terms of the Drivers' Championship then, we sit in second position, 19 points behind Oscar Piastri, and then Marino Sato 4th place with Jane Deruvala between us. But the Sato-Schwartzman battle is what we are interested in. Sato now 6 points clear of Robert Schwartzman. So in terms of the team's championship, we're still 13 points behind Prema, but it's all closing up. So there's still plenty left to play for in this one. So with that said, I think it's time we just move on to the sprint. I think it's time we move on to the feature race, We'll be starting on pole position with Piastri alongside. It's going to be dry weather for the entire race, so it's just going to be a straight fight between us all the way to the end. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one plays out. Home race for both of our teams as well. Both Prema and Trident are Italian based teams, so it is all the more important for us to win this weekend for the team at their home circuit. So the added pressure of that too, especially come the feature race, will be very important. But anyway, I mentioned doing the double as well. I'm rambling on more, but that is something we can do as well. We might win both races this weekend. Let's see. Let's get into the feature race.
Welcome everybody to the heart of Italian motor racing, Monza. We're here with Formula 2 for what ought to be an extravaganza of excitement and action. Let's head to the start line and get underway. Monza is situated 12 miles northeast of Milan. It's 3.6 miles long and offers 11 corners. 7 of those are chicanes, putting a premium on good braking stability and traction. With a good slipstream plus the other 2 DRS zones available, there should be a good number of passing opportunities on offer. Here is the grid for today's race, which will be starting shortly. Ben Fiscal starts his race from pole position, and it's Oscar Piastri in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Lawson, Schwartzman, Enzo Fittipaldi, and Lundgaard, Samaya, Vachor, Drugovic, Larim Zendelli, Phipps, Joe, Jan Deruvala, and Sato, Aitken, Tickton, Boschong, and Roy Nissany. Beckman, Pourchaire, Armstrong, and Alessio Deleda rounds off the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Alrighty, so here we are on the grid for the feature race here at Monza. This is the big one. This is the one where we need to perform. We need to make sure we get the absolute most out of this race. It's a critical point in the championship now. With 5 rounds to go after this, we need to make sure we are, knocking on the door of that first place, because it's been a struggle recently, and Piastri's been stealing all the headlines in Belgium with that absolute domination. So we need to make sure we can start to keep up with that, and ideally we get a good start, we lead the whole race, and we cross the line at first, and it's the most boring race we've ever done. But it rarely plays out that way. Soft tyres to the mediums will be the strategy.
Let's make sure we get the edge on the surrounding drivers as the lights go out.
And it's a good parking job on the start.
Grid forming up now. Be patient and watch for those
so
lights.
Hopefully that means we can get a good launch off the grid and get away cleanly and never see the rest of the field again. Let's see how it goes. 5 red lights are on. And it's lights out, and away we go for the feature race here in Italy. And it's a perfect start for us. We absolutely launch away from the rest of the field and down towards the first corner. It's absolute daylight to second, third and fourth, who are all fighting away back there. And we have got perfect conditions here, getting well away from the rest of the field as we head through the Variante del Rettifilo for the first time. And now through the Curva Grande, we are absolutely miles ahead. So it's been a brilliant start for us, absolutely exactly what we needed, and the perfect start to our very boring race where we won't see the field for the rest of the time. That is what I'm telling myself, but as we continue on, that's not how it plays out, unfortunately. Oscar Piastri was always going to be quick, and with a mistake there, Oscar Piastri gets through down the inside of the first Lesmo. And it almost looked like we let him through there. I promise you that's not what happened. I just made a mess of that corner, and yeah, that was not ideal. So let's see if we can get back past him. And the reason I'm checking the tire condition is the car feels a little bit kind of lazy at the moment. I don't know if it's just the heavier fuel at the start of the feature race compared to the sprint races. We have a moment on the exit there, and that's Fittipaldi gets through. How did that happen? Where did Fittipaldi come from? And he takes the lead out of nowhere as everyone's fighting away behind us as well. Here's how he did it. As we were going around the outside of Piastri, Fittipaldi thought he would join in the party, and as we went wide, the seas parted for him and took the lead. So Enzo Fittipaldi scoring one there as we're being pushed towards the first corner. We're going to go for the move back down the inside of Piastri. Big lock-up for Piastri, but he maintains control. And Schwartzman briefly trying to make the move around their outside, finds out there's not going to be too much space on the apex there, and he wisely so backs out of it. So that is getting close between all the Premers and us. But as we continue on, Piastri continues his fight with Fittipaldi. Fittipaldi holds on as we get a nice run on the exit. Nowhere to go for us until we get to the Della Roggia chicane. Now we'll go for the look down the inside, and we'll just ease it in down the inside of Piastri, and we'll get the move done and move ourselves ahead. And now let's see if we can chase down Fittipaldi. We were really lacking pace there for a while as Guilherme Samaya, after that fantastic podium, will retire from the very next race. That's unfortunate for the Brazilian. But as we continue to push on, we are just about keeping up with Fittipaldi, but we're struggling to do so. So we're going to go for the undercut and see if that can vault us into contention. So into the box we go, put the medium compound tyres on, and we'll see how this undercut plays out.
Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
So we'll see how it goes, and hopefully we'll be able to put in some good lap times on these fresh tyres. We won't have any distractions around us. We won't be, you know, constantly watching to see if we need to defend or anything like that. We can just push flat out, and I think that will be very beneficial for us. So let's see how this goes. I think this is the right play, so we'll see.
We're currently at the back. That's last place. Deleda's ahead of you.
But I will admit, the dream of doing the double does feel like it's slipping away because Fittipaldi is very, very quick. We on the next lap passed a whole bunch of cars in the pit lane, but they're not really the group we were fighting. Piastri and Fittipaldi did not pit on that lap, so they opted to go a bit longer, both of them. So a bit unusual, they're not covering off the undercut. But anyway, we push on again, and now we'll see where Fittipaldi re-emerges. There he is, coming out of pit lane right there, and we will retake the lead of the race that we lost on lap 2. And first place is now ours at second place is now ours. Yuri Vips doing alternate strategy in this one, starting on the medium compound tyres, I believe. So
teammate behind is 13.8 seconds.
Yeah, after the first race didn't go to plan for Yuri Vips, he's doing something different in this one.
You're in second place. Okay, Vips just ahead. Push, push. Okay, gap to the car ahead is 14.6 seconds. They're on old mediums.
And we'll see how that goes for him. But that's Teo Porcher with an issue and holding up the field a bit as he tries to pull out the way. Teo Porcher out of the race with a mechanical failure. And also worth mentioning, Jack Aitken also retired with a mechanical failure, but I didn't catch that one on the replay cameras. But as we continue on, Yuri Vips makes his pit stop, and we take the lead of the race. So we now move on to the final lap, because nothing else really happened. We got the boring race we wished for from then on, and that means we are about to do something pretty special. It is very rare to win both races in Formula 2, but we've scored pole position and taken both fastest laps as well, assuming no one takes it away from us on this final lap. As we come around the final corner, we are going to score absolute maximum points from this Formula 2 weekend.
Oh, superb driving. That is the race win, my friend. Well done.
Unbelievable. I don't think I've ever done that before.
Great work from the Trident team. They take a famous win here today. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
It was down to one thing: consistent pace over everyone else out there on the track. We could spend a great deal of time talking about race and tire strategy, what has occurred on the track, but at the end of the day, the difference here was down to simply being faster on track than everyone else. Amazing skill on show.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be Trident picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for coming out on top in that amazing race.
pole position, fastest lap and race victory in the sprint race, fastest lap and race victory in the feature race. It's been a perfect weekend for us. Liam Lawson managed to grab second position late in the race with Enzo Fittipaldi in third.
Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
I think it's going to be Bernd Viscal. He's not always spectacular, but he quietly gets the job done. And that's the case today.
After all this drama, you would be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
Alrighty, well, that literally could not have gone any better this weekend. I don't actually know what our points total is, but it could not have been higher. 27 points in the feature race. That'll be 17 points in the sprint race, so that makes 44, plus the 4 points for 4 positions. That's 48 points this weekend. That is ridiculous. But anyway, notably absent is Oscar Piastri. He finished. He didn't. He's not anywhere in the top 14. So I don't know what happened to Oscar Piastri. I've missed that somehow in all this. Did he have a mechanical failure? I don't know. I'm baffled by that. 19 drivers were still running at the point we crossed the line to take victory. I'm scrolling through the footage to see what happened, but yeah, I don't know. Something went wrong for Oscar Piastri, and at a critical moment, he scores an absolute donut from this race. Okay, Marino Sato got points too. He finished 10th. Alright, let's run through the top 10 real quick now. Obviously, we just saw the podium. Myself, Liam Lawson, and Enzo Fittipaldi, followed by Robert Schwartzman in 4th, Christian Lundgaard, another 5th place finish, ahead of Richard Verschoor, Yuri Vips, who scored points with that alternate strategy, followed by Lirim Zendelli, Dan Ticktum, and Marino Sato rounding out the top 10. As for the Drivers' Championship, with Piastri not scoring, we take the lead of the Drivers' Championship by 8 points ahead of Oscar Piastri, and further, or 56 points behind, rather, for Jane Deruvala in 3rd, so I think he is more or less out of it. Unfortunately, Sato drops behind Robert Schwartzman, and there are 5 points separating the two of them, so still very close between them. But that also means we take the lead of the Constructors' Championship and pull just 3 points clear of Prema in that fight. So a topsy-turvy day here in Formula 2. I can't wait to see what happens next time. But for now, that is all for this one. So I'll say thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I really do appreciate it. Feel free to give me some feedback in the comments. It is always very helpful. But other than that, I will see you next time. Goodbye.